Sometimes young people feel they're going to remain young forever, and then they have the luxury to take risks, but those risks can actually be the reason why you're not healthy at an older age.
Hello and welcome to Cocoa Pods, a podcast of the Birth Center for Natural Deliveries Foundation. My name is Dr. Bola Sogadi. I'm a women's health specialist. On this podcast, we talk about all the issues relating to women's health and identify the problems and talk about ways in which we can mitigate the problems. In this series, we explore the fascinating journey of actually growing to an old age with vitality. We'll uncover the secrets behind longevity. We'll explore how lifestyle, richness in social connections, a good healthy diet, regular physical activity, and a relaxed approach to life contribute to remarkable health and happiness. Today, we gain valuable insights from Dr. Ogugua Osiyogu from Abuja, Nigeria, an expert in aging.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Shogade, for having me. It's really a pleasure. It's really good to be on this podcast with you, and I'm excited that we'll be talking about aging. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. In continuation from our previous two episodes, what are some of the things that the family can do to make them relevant? What are just some of the practical things that family members can do to help their older persons?
So one is to ensure that you don't take away their autonomy for decision making. So I've seen some of my clients in the clinic where I'm asking a question of the mother, so how is that pain? And maybe she starts telling me about the pain, and the doctor goes, no, you're always complaining about that pain. That's not a new thing. And then I go, it's not about it being new or old. This is definitely of concern to her, so we need to listen. So being able to listen to them, show them respect, have them make decisions for themselves, because some younger adults now feel, mom and dad are too old to make their own decision. Mom wants to eat something, or you just come and say, oh, mom, this is your breakfast. You didn't even ask her. And so she's already feeling, oh, I can't even make decisions about what I eat. Mom, we're going to an event. Here is what you're going to wear. There's no question about, which of your outfits would you like to wear? Which one do you feel like wearing today? So when we constantly make decisions for them, you're reminding them that, they're actually getting irrelevant because they have become old. So it's important we bring them into decision making, even when they live under your roof. They can even make decisions about, you can actually have them take over certain aspects of the home. Oh, mom, you know what? I think I need you to work with the cook on drop a menu for us. We like this, we like, that gives them a sense of relevance, that they're still making a contribution to the family. We must really listen to them. Don't always say, oh, well, you told me about this yesterday, you're repeating it again today. Just listen. When they're complaining about the pain, what did the doctor say we should do? Remind them of some of the things the doctors might have said to do, cold compress, warm compress. So don't get into a state of despair. It can be inundating, I agree. And in fact, what I've said to some family members is, when you don't have the energy to deal with the concerns that they're expressing, let someone else step in. So I had a daughter call me to say, oh, her mother is 84. She's always calling about having pains here, having pains there. Who's going to have pains if not her at 84? And I'm only 50 something. And I said, well, yes, but you don't put it to her that way. Just listen. Yes, you feel like saying, oh, if you don't have pain at 83, but don't voice it because that won't help her at that time. And let's include them in activities, even when they have disabilities, by the way. So I have encouraged family members to, your mother is in a wheelchair, but she's alive. So let her engage in activities like every living person, as long as she has desire for it. You're going to church, you're going to the mosque, please have your mother come along or your dad come along, even in a wheelchair. And I'll tell you my own story. God bless my mom. She died at 88. She had had 2 strokes that left her wheelchair bound, lived in Lagos, and I live here in Abuja. But every month I made a point to go into Lagos. We'll make a show of, this Sunday we're taking mom to church. She would make a fuss, you don't have to do that. But I realized that once we got her to church, she was happy to be there. We'll wheel her to the front of the altar. And when we were thinking, okay, now the major thing about church is done, can we go? She'd be like, no, but Mass is not over. So that made me feel that this was something good we were doing for her, even though she would want to stop us. So we must continue to expose our older people to act like everybody else. So that's important, right? So we need to have them also engage in activities like everybody else, even with disabilities that keep them wheelchair bound, or when they have things like dementia. We still need to get them out there. And you see their countenance change. You're also making them feel you're one of us. We go here, you come with us. We respect you, we cherish you in spite of your disability. You're saying we're not ashamed of you just because you have a disability. We're also saying you're alive, and so participate like every living person. And we ask them about their desires. What is it they would like to do? Because there's some you're 70, and I say you could live another 20 years. What would you like to be doing over those 20 years while you're waiting to be called up? Because the mindset also needs to change, which is why we're doing a lot of advocacy. Can get you an university across the world where they provide some courses where you're not taking exams or anything, just for the fun of it. And a lot of the older people participate in this. And like I said earlier, I learn from my clients. The professors in those classes tend to learn from the older persons. But again, it's a platform to just allow them come, engage, share experience with each other, and continue to feel relevant.
So you did say that some of the older people might want to enroll in just classes for learning.
Yes. It could be flower arrangement class, something, anything at all, bead making. So when I trained in the US, there are senior citizen centers that actually, there are platforms for these seniors to just come and you see 80, 90-year-olds doing choreographic dancing. I mean, I used to feel ashamed that, So yes, once you have desire for it, but if you desire it and there's no platform, you don't get to experience it. And that puts a limit to what you can do. And that's what the WHO is actually trying to do with this decade of healthy aging, 2020 to 2030, reminding governments, professional groups, academics to say, look, let's look at the older adults, make sure we create an environment for them to live healthy and be able to express themselves, engage with society, live healthy lives that allows them to continue to contribute to society. There is a lot they can contribute, but if we don't give the platform for them to come to, the society would actually lose from that wealth of experience that they can share with us.
Yeah, you're right. And my mom, she's 85. She goes to a senior center. And,
Yeah.
one of the unspoken advantage is that she would say, oh, that 92-year-old did that exercise. So I'm going to learn how to do that tomorrow. So it's kind of
Exactly.
pouring each other on to being better,
To do more.
to do more,
Mhm.
And like you said,
Mhm.
when they grow older is when they have just the wealth of experience, life experience and knowledge. And
Mhm.
it would be wise for the younger people to tap on them, to tap on this
Mhm.
experience and not miss out. So, thank you for bringing that up. But I wanted to bring on for the young people, what is the role of the microbiome, because nowadays, people are talking about the human gut
Mm.
microbiome. And,
Mm.
they say this consists of trillions of microorganisms living in our digestive tract that they have been shown to have significant impact on aging and overall health. So what is the use of probiotics,
Mm.
prebiotics, and dietary modifications? I know you talked a lot about dietary
Diet.
modifications, but what is the role of these in the youth in preventing aging for younger people?
Mhm. Right. So something about you are your gut, or your gut health is your health. With the practice of excessive alcohol use, smoking, poor exercise, all of this actually affect the milieu of the gut. Then the over-the-counter use, especially of antibiotics, that then change the equilibrium of the bacteria that should be in the gut. Substance abuse, all of those have been linked to change in the bacterial load, or the equilibrium of bacteria in the gut. So being able, again, going back to that diet that is plant-based, really important in ensuring gut health. The animal-based diets don't tend to lead to more inflammation. Remember, I talked about inflammation, and those are some of the things we're trying to avoid by avoiding animal-based food, in addition to the risk of high cholesterol and all of that. So plant-based, high fiber diet to maintain gut health. Drinking of loads and loads of water, also to maintain gut health. And our proteins also to come mainly from plant sources. All of this will help us to maintain gut health. And there's also been a link with stress and gut health, where you have conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, which tends to get flared, during stressful situations and all that. So really going back again to those 6 pillars, very important. Diet, no tobacco, all that also help with our gut health. Where there's a disequilibrium, the use of probiotics. So there are people who, despite this lifestyle habits, still have some disequilibrium with the gut bacteria, and the probiotics are actually very helpful in maintaining gut health and resetting the normal flora of the gut to actually be able to reduce, again, those inflammatory processes that lead to some of these age-related diseases.
So, additionally, another fact about slowing down the aging process is the impact of autophagy enhancement. And I know that might be a big word for some, but autophagy is the body's process of cleaning out damaged cells and regenerating newer, healthier cells. And people have linked things like intermittent fasting, caloric restriction, and certain medications to this autophagy enhancement. How can we boost, autophagy, which is, the way to clean out from the body, damaged cells, and regenerate newer healthy cells? How can we do that, just clinically or practically?
Right. So I think it's still all coming back to the same: avoiding toxins, tobacco, definitely a no-no, excessive alcohol, excessive caffeine use. And the senolytics are actually also sort of been linked to that, because we're saying with senolytics, reduce senescent or dead cells. So yes, there have actually been studies, particularly in animal models, that have looked at caloric restriction. And there's something called the mTOR pathway and rapamycin, where, those rats that were restricted from eating for, 6 to 12 hours tended to do better than those that didn't. So something to do with the telomere shortening, you tend to find more of that with aging. And with the caloric restriction, there was a reduced tendency for that. So there are studies or research that have been looked into the benefit of caloric restriction. And that also has been linked to the gut health, and being able to maintain healthier lifestyle. So caloric restriction also, again, back to the issue of inflammation, reducing oxidative stress, and having more antioxidant property from the caloric restriction and intermittent fasting. So with intermittent fasting, again, that's actually something that been looked into significantly in a lot of research now, that we really don't need to be eating round the clock. I was on a trip in the last 3-4 days, and I realized that I could be up till 3 p.m. and I hadn't eaten, but just kept drinking. So water is very essential. We're all supposed to drink at least 3 liters of fluid a day. I was drinking all day, and I realized that I really didn't feel hungry, and I don't feel weak or unhealthy just because I'm not eating those many calories. And sticking to just the plant-based. Some would say, oh, you're only eating fruits, you're only eating vegetable salad. Are you sure you're going to be full? It's a lot of calories that are useful versus the unuseful or disease-promoting calories from your animals or high carbohydrate content. So the rule is 80% of your plate, if possible, to be from your vegetables, and only the 20% that will come from a bit of carbohydrate or protein that you want. So I think generally we tend to eat a lot more than we really need, and you're getting your gut to go into overdrive mode, consistently metabolizing the food that you're eating, but giving the gut a bit of that break with the intermittent fasting have been found to reduce, again, the inflammation, high load of the oxidative stress that are all promoting the age-related diseases.
Well, thank you. So for the younger person out there, or the pregnant younger person, or planning to be pregnant younger person, we've talked about this, but if you were going to summarize to them, this is what you need to do to be like that person on that Greek island where you say people, can you say that again? The Greek island.
That they forget to die.
They forget to
the
die.
carrier in Greece, yes.
So can you give a summary for the younger people and tie it to the saying for the Greek island?
Right. So eat healthy, maintain meaningful social connection. So, today, the social media, people are challenged by people they don't even know. You're just seeing someone, oh, this person dresses well, as always. No, focus on what is attainable for you and be content with who you are, what you have, because that's important. If you're not in a state of contentment, there's a lot of agitation. That's undue stress, undue anxiety, and you might take decisions that are not health promoting. So be content, maintain social connections with people that have the same values with you, eat right, avoid those toxins, where you go to a party and you drink. A lot of discipline in being able to say, this is it. And that discipline even comes even with eating food. So you should be able to say, this is all I'm going to eat. And once I'm done, that is it. The next person comes and says, oh, look at this beautiful pecan pie. I love pecan pie. And that discipline and control over what you eat, what you drink, your activities, so that you're not sleep deprived, because chronic sleep deprivation we know is not good for aging well. Having a positive attitude. So you have a challenge, don't look at the glass being half empty, but look at it being half full, which gives you hope to be able to overcome that challenge. But if you look at it half empty, you're going to feel defeated and might not even want to try make any effort at overcoming that challenge. We all have challenges. You must be able to categorize those challenges into, do I have an immediate solution? You have midterm solution, you have long-term solution. Where you have an immediate solution, so you deal with that. But you know, these other two, it's going to take you some time. So mentally, you are ready to say, you know what, I'm going to unpack this, because it will take some time to overcome. But if you put them all in the same mix, you're struggling with the one that has immediate and the one that has long-term, and you never really get out of that quagmire. So it's important that we're able to say, I have this categories of hurdles. This is how I'm going to deal with them. Treat people well, because then you also get treated well. So that attitude that you put forward, showing love to others, so that what you give is what you receive back. It's really important. And believe in yourself. Keep investing in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, it gives you more confidence to actually be content in who you are, and to say, I am enough. That will take away undue anxiety and undue agitation. And you keep working progressively towards achieving what your life goals are. And that means you must have certain goals in life that you want to meet, and just work progressively towards them, making progress every day. One of the things, even not just for young people, even for older people, to always count those blessings. Every day you've made some progress. Give yourself a pat in the back, rather than say, oh, I had 10 things I wanted to achieve. I've only achieved 2 because I haven't achieved this 8. Oh my God. For the 2 that you have achieved, celebrate them, so that you have freedom of mind to now work on, okay, this other 8, how am I going to tackle them? But if you go into a state of defeat because you achieved less than you had anticipated, you won't be able to even move forward to overcome the other 8 in the subsequent days to come. So it's important that we celebrate wins and not always focusing on the things that are undone or unachieved. And make sure you identify a general practitioner, a clinician that you're seeing annually and in between whenever there's a problem. Very important that somebody has your history. If there's something, they already know, oh, this person has this person has that. Unlike the situation where you're just doctor shopping, you go from Dr. A to Dr. B to Dr. C. You haven't given any of them the luxury to have your history and be able to take good care of you when you're in need of their care. So it's important, and you're going in for those regular checks. Sometimes young people feel they're going to remain young forever, and then they have the luxury to take risks, but those risks can actually be the reason why you're not healthy at an older age. So measure the risks that you take, both financially and otherwise, because the financial risk also puts you in a psychological state of anxiety, depression, if you haven't taken the appropriate risks. And spirituality. There's a lot of studies now that are looking at the benefit of this, even for control of things like diabetes and hypertension. We just feel that it's a way to measure how you live life, to keep it in check. All of these things that I talked about, the fear of not following the will of God would make you actually keep to some of these things that we talked about, not smoking, not indulging in substances, treating other people well, and all that. All that will come when you feel that you need to come under the control of a higher being, of your creator. So that helps significantly. And maintaining good, meaningful relationships. So I find that a lot of young people are investing time and sometimes money in relationships with friends, and they deprioritize family. So you find an 80-year-old whose younger adult children are, flying from here to there for events for their friends, and a whole year might go by and they have not physically seen their parents. So we must prioritize nurturing relationships with parents, with family. Family is also important. In fact, family, because when it comes down to it, your family members are the ones that are going to leave everything else to meet your needs. I mean, there are friends who can be family members, but we must be able to have a balance in deepening relationship, not just with the friends as we're growing up, but also family members as well, your parents, your siblings. Really important that you maintain good relationships with them so that they are then your support base, and you also remain part of the support base for them as well.
Wow. We have been talking to Dr. Ogugua Osiyogu. She is an aging medicine specialist and a pioneer in Nigeria. She lives in the city of Abuja. And so, as we close, can you tell us a fun fact about you? Just something.
I don't know. Did you? Oh yeah, you did see me do that dancing in the bus. I love to dance, and just in Nairobi for our 50th birthday party, and I kept dancing. Somebody came and said, and see, I didn't think that, you enjoyed doing this. I said, yes, I love music. I love to dance. So that's one fun fact. When I actually met my husband, he looked very serious. And I thought, I'm not sure that he can be my partner. He doesn't look like he even listens to music, let alone dance. And in conversation, it came out that he actually loves music. And I said, thank you, Lord. So that's how much music and dancing, how important those two are for me. So yes, I enjoy music, I enjoy dancing. And I do dance with some of my patients in the clinics, especially the older ones with dementia, some fun, nothing heavy. So I say something and I say, can you sing a song for me? And then they sing and then they get up and we're dancing and they're happy about that engagement. So yes, this is a doctor that enjoys music and dancing.
Thank you so very much for that. Next episode. Some people, they just see the doctor and they don't even know what the visit was about.